If you're new to the channel, I'm Marcus, the Debt Free Dad. I'm a licensed attorney. Hey, we talking finances and attorney reactions to current events and trending news. And try not to give you any professional or legal advice. This is mainly infotainment purposes. So the disclaimer I always got to throw out to keep the folks at the various bar associations I'm a member of happy is I am a licensed attorney, but I'm not your attorney. So this isn't legal or financial advice. Just letting y'all know what we got going on and giving my opinion and takes. If you need a professional, seek a professional in your area. Now, this video is going to be interesting because, hey, the DFD is an attorney. I've been in this game for a long time. And you can see from the gray hairs, this is the time of the year where I don't cut my hair, so I just let it grow. So it's going to be looking wilder and wilder each video. Just putting that out there as a caveat so y'all know what to expect come late December, early January. But this is a video where it was a time where DFD wasn't the greatest with his finances. And I was a relatively new attorney. I might have been practicing for 3 or 4 months, and American Express sued my ass. They sued a brother because they wanted their $5,000 back. Now, what did I spend that $5,000 on that credit card on? I don't know. It was probably, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if y'all recall this story, but I think I used it to get a new transmission in the car. I know like at least 3,500 was to replace a transmission in the car that was probably only worth $3,500. But yeah, I think I used a substantial portion of that $5,000 debt on that credit card to replace a transmission in the car when I could have just bought another car. But either way, I didn't have no money and it would have ended in a disaster. But I want to tell y'all about a time when American Express took my ass to court. They were not playing. They wanted their money. I'm going to let y'all know how that situation played out. And I'm going to give y'all a little bit of information on how I navigated that process when your boy got that lawsuit paperwork in the mail. So fast forward to the story. Now, I passed the bar exam. I'm waiting for my bar results so I can start practicing. I think I got my results and I maybe was doing, I don't know, some type of work for a couple of weeks. I just had an interview with the Office of the Public Defender. I'm really excited. I got this opportunity and they called me back. They was like, yo, when you want to start? That's how you know you're really excited for a job. They was like, when you want to start? I was like, when y'all need me there? That was my reply. But I started that job. I was probably maybe on that job for 6, 8 weeks. It was definitely no more than 2 and a half months. So I'm getting the lay of the land, learning all the judges and their particular nuances, what they like or what they dislike. Now, in the back of my mind, I know I got this credit card debt out there, but let's just think about it. I only been working at a maximum of 2 months. I only got two paychecks because we got paid once every month. Now, to backtrack a little bit, when I was studying for the bar, your boy was broke. So I had to get a bar loan. A bar loan is what you take out when you're no longer in school. So you done loaned to death the Department of Education and the federal government. But it's that weird period between after graduation and studying for the bar where you ain't got no money. And so instead of going out and delivering pizzas or something like that, what I should have did, I took out a bar loan for something like, I don't know, $3,000 or $4,000. So I was really asked out. I had a little bit of funds, but I got that bar loan because I was like, just in case something get crazy, I have something in my back pocket, which it probably was stupid in the long run, but that was my thinking at the time. So, like I said, I've been on this job for 2 months. I only got two paychecks because, hey, you only get paid once a month. And, hey, I only made $40,000 a year, maybe 41 or 42. But it was a relative low amount of money for what most people think that an attorney should be making. Okay. And so I had a plan in place to start catching up with all of these debts. But those first couple of months I was digging out of the hole. That credit card, that American Express bill just didn't take priority. So halfway through month number 3, I'm like, okay, next month I can start putting some money on this credit card debt. Now you know how long you gotta not pay before they sue you. So I didn't pay this bill for a long ass time, right? I didn't pay this bill for a long ass time. And what do I get in the mail? I get a complaint. They're saying, hey, you are being sued for this debt associated with this card. It was $5,000 And I just thought to myself, I was like, damn, I'm being sued. How is this going to get resolved? So think about it. I'm in court every day as a new attorney for the past 2 months in front of all of these judges. Who is going to hear my case? All of these judges that I got to be in front of every day. Literally, every judge that I have to be in front of, one of those 6, 7, 9, however many it was, were going to be the ones to hear this case. And I was like, damn, that's kind of embarrassing. So it was an annoying thing. And I felt kind of embarrassed at the time because, one, I wasn't taking care of my obligations. But two, I was like, God damn, I just started this job and they already about to know your boy broke as hell. Your boy broke as hell because they going to have to be the trier effect for this debt that American Express is about to sue my ass for, is suing my ass for. And so what did I do? Okay. Typically in the process, when you'll get a notice, a complaint in the mail, it'll be served to you by the sheriff or it'll be served through registered mail or something to that effect. Once you get that, do not ignore it. Now, depending on what state you are, the local rules, you may have 20 to 30 days to reply. You can do a formal reply where you file it with the court saying that, yo, I don't owe this debt because I paid y'all, or this isn't my debt. But most times, for claims like these, you can really just show up in court and handle it. Not every time, but that's how it was in a particular jurisdiction that I was at. So I really didn't need to answer it. I just kind of had to show up to court. Now, I never ever went to court for it. No, they didn't give me a default judgment where the judge just said, you didn't show up, your ass owe the money. I resolved it beforehand. I had 20 or 30 days to respond to the letter, or I could just show up in court and respond. What did I do? Well, I took that as an opportunity to actually settle and resolve the debt. Because of the couple of months I've been working, the 30 days that I had before I got to court, I was able to scrounge up some money. I think I owed them like 5 racks. I was able to scrounge up like $1,000, and I actually called them and said, "Yo, your boy broke as hell. I got a job, but yo, it's only me working at the time. It's kind of crazy out here in these streets." And they agreed to settle that debt for $1,000. So once they gave me that agreement, they sent me documentation saying that we agree to settle this debt, satisfy this debt in full if you can pay the amount of $1,000. They weren't interested in no payment plan. I was like, and I didn't want to do a payment plan. If you're going to settle a debt for a lump sum, most times they're gonna want it all up front. They like, oh, you asking to settle a debt and you want to give us a payment plan? How about you just give us a payment plan for the whole damn thing? So most times, if you're trying to settle a credit card debt or settle a debt that's owed that they already filed legal action against you and there's a lump sum, you're in a better position if you got the lump sum. So they took the $1,000 in satisfaction of the $5,000 debt. Everything ended up working itself out. Hey, at the end of the year, your boy got hit over the head because that $4,000 different counted as gross income, and I actually had to pay taxes on that $4,000. So, hey, there's always a consequence of every action. But they'll typically give you notice either served through a sheriff or through registered mail. You'll normally have 20 to 30 days to reply to answer the complaint. Or an alternative, in some jurisdictions, you don't have to answer. You can just show up to court on that day. Now, there are some specific rules if I would have went to court that I would have done, okay? One, in order to establish that the debt is in fact valid, they have to prove, they're the ones that got to prove everything. So they have to prove that this is your debt. How do they prove this is your debt? They have to actually have someone to say, hey, this is the paperwork that DFD filled out. This is its signature. It was on or about this specific date at this specific time in this specific location. So they have to prove and validate that the debt is in fact yours. Most of the time, and I've seen this happen with cases that I actually represented people on, not necessarily credit card issues, but where I was at had this stupid rule. They had a criminal action and it was called failure to return rental property. So what would happen? I don't know if the goons was finessing or what, but people would go to the rental spot where they can rent to own rims, get rims on their vehicle, then they never return the rims or they never returned their Xbox or PlayStation or whatever the hell it was. So it was actually a legal cause of action, a criminal charge called failure to return rental property. Judges generally hated it because they was like, we on a civil court. We aren't supposed to, if you want to sue them for your money back, sue them for their money back. That was the position a lot of judges took. But in those cases, the same way if a credit card company or debtor sues you for a debt that's owed, they have to actually prove that the debt is yours. But the person who introduces the evidence to the court has to be a specific person, and people don't really know this. But it has to be someone who is the custodian of records. Custodian of records has a specific legal nuance. So let's say they sued DFD for this $5,000 debt, right? They sued me for this $5,000 debt. I'm in court. They are trying to prove their case. Your Honor, he signed these documents on this date, and they're going through everything. And I'm like, objection, Your Honor, because in order to introduce evidence, you have to lay a foundation to introduce evidence. So in order to introduce financial records, business records, they have to you have to introduce evidence that establishes the person who is introducing that evidence against me. They would have to present evidence that they are in fact the custodian of the records for that particular company. If they can't, technically that evidence can't be admitted because they aren't the custodian of records. They can't authenticate those records. So a prime example would be if they were suing me for $5,000, we went to court, they had someone who his job was to just go to court with all the records from all the people they suing that day and just present that evidence to the court. If that was his job and his job isn't the custodian of the records for that company or that organization, as far as maintaining, storing, ensuring the accuracy of that records, he doesn't even have the ability to authenticate and verify that those records are in fact legit because he's not the custodian of the record. So that would have been the approach that DFD would have did had your boy gone to court. But I found an opportunity to avoid court, only settled it and resolved the matter for $1,000 instead of five, even though I had an additional federal and state taxes on $4,000 of gross income. It ended up working out and overall being cheaper. The bottom line is if you are actually sued for a debt, you have time to resolve it. Even when you're in court, they'll be willing to work with you to try to resolve the debt. So, like I said, that's a prime opportunity to try to resolve a debt. Now, I'll tell you, most places, I mean, just in my personal experience from what happened to me, 5 racks or less, a lot of credit card companies just gonna write that off and count it as a loss. I was going through my era. I ain't paying nobody shit. I'm just paying the essentials. But I had credit cards that I owed 3,000 here, 2,000 here. When I didn't pay them, you know what? They sent me a notice in the mail saying, you know what? We're gonna chalk it up as a loss. We looked at your financial situation, bro. We ain't even gonna worry about it. I just got a tax form at the end of the year. Whatever was wiped away that the credit card companies ate up as a loss, it counted as gross income towards me. Essentially, they gave me $3,000. I had to pay taxes on it. So it's very rare, I think, for $5,000 or less to be taken to court. But American Express wasn't playing with my ass. They took my ass to court. They wanted their money, but we were able to negotiate it beforehand. So if you have a debt that's out there, you think it might go to litigation or it is in litigation, that's your opportunity to take advantage. Remember, never give them your financial institution information so they can draft the money out of your account. Definitely don't do that. Any agreements you get, you make sure you get in writing before you send any payments in. And you want to make sure that agreement, if it's to satisfy the entire amount, it has specific language that says something to the effect of this agreement hereby establishes that this $1,000 payment on behalf of DFD will satisfy or serve in satisfaction of the $5,000 debt that was owed to American Express. And you got to have that specific language that says that what I'm giving you satisfies the full amount of the debt so nobody can come back later and try to clean anything up. But yo, we all aren't perfect with our finances. I wasn't because they sued your boy ass. They had DFD up in court about to be on trial in front of the judges that he defending people against. But yeah, it can happen. Just take that as an opportunity to see if you can settle it in your favor. I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed this content, check out the video on the screen. There's going to be more content related to finances and attorney reactions.